What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We are your hosts, the Distorted Theorists, and we are here at Cineplex in St. John's, Newfoundland on technically opening night for Joker, Folie, Deux, and we are ready to share our non-spoiler review with everyone watching. But before we do, and before I pass it over to Pete, because I know you got a few words to say, as always, if you want to support the channel, if you love our reviews, you want us to continue them, just take a second to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments after the review if you've seen it and if anything matches up. Peter, Joker, Folie, Deux, we've been waiting for it. We heard there was some other reviews floating around. What are you thinking?
So after the first Joker, which when they first announced the first Joker, I was pleasantly surprised by what the direction that they were going to take in it, and it was a different take on the Joker's story, and it was kind of and it didn't really involve anything else from Batman or anything. I was like, okay, that's
which was refreshing.
Cool. Yes. And I really enjoyed it. I managed to watched it during Snowmageddon. For those of Newfoundland, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't worry about it. I watched it while I was stuck at work, and I really enjoyed it so much so that I watched it a second time when I was in the comfort of my own home. So when they announced Joker, Folie, Deux, I was kind of left with the question of like, that's cool. Wait, why?
Yeah.
Because I felt that
you've questioned this a lot. Why?
Yeah, I felt that everything that was said with the first Joker, the way it ended, and where it was ambiguous enough that they didn't need to make a sequel. Now, it made a ton of money, so they were going to make this movie. It's just the way studios work, really and truly. And they made it, and there were the rumors that it was floating around that it was going to be a musical, which it is. And frankly, I'm a touch disappointed.
Well, I think for me going into this, seeing the review of Joker, Folie, Deux was like, cool, they're making another Joker movie. They've done so well with the first one. Great. For me, the catch-all, if you want to call it that, was when they announced Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. That was big for me because as a fan of American Horror Story, seeing her performance in Hotel, I was like, oh my God, she is perfect for this role. And while technically she still was, I don't know if I came away getting what I wanted from her performance or what I thought would be. She was probably the closest to a live-action Harley Quinn that we're ever going to see. Because again, you look at the comics, you look at the animated show, you look at the movies that came, they were caricatures of themselves. Batman's not Batman, Joker's not Joker, Mr. Freeze isn't Mr. Freeze, and Harley Quinn was this gymnast that was just, no, you Mr. J. And this is the closest to a realistic, what you would consider Arthur Fleck / Joker with a Harleen Quinzel, Harley Quinn, dealing with the struggles of, I'm assuming, living on the poverty line and mental illness, which is what is pretty much first and foremost takes center stage in both of these movies. I just feel like, like you said, like you touched on mental illness. Obviously, the movie kind of leaned on that in the first one anyway, and created this character as an unstable gentleman. And this one does carry through with that, but it introduces, obviously, as we've seen in the trailers, and being a musical, it introduces a new coping mechanism. While I feel like it did add a lot to Joker, Folie, Deux, to the franchise, I felt like it was a little overdone. They probably could have cut the songs by half, in my opinion. It was just like, they should have had more reason. Sometimes there was just musical for the point of putting music in. I didn't really understand that. But when the music cut out, I don't know if you noticed this, the silence was deafening in this movie. I don't know if you caught on that.
Well, I think, again, that's kind of part of what kind of goes hand in hand with a mental illness is and again, I'm not speaking from experience. I can only assume that this is why this was done, is if someone who's suffering as intensely as Arthur is, they have their moment of glee, and then that goes away. It's just, well, the lights go out, and it's just...
Great way to put it, actually. Great analogy, because that holds true.
Now, I don't want to come away saying that this movie was awful. It is entertaining. It is drawn out. The shots, which make sense in IMAX, some of the cinematography and the way that they set up certain shots and long shots, done extremely well. Like in terms of like art, yes,
while the story was a little bit dragged out, they could have cut 10, 20 minutes, let's say, or whatever. I did feel that it held my attention the whole way because I wanted to know what was what was the end game here? No pun intended. What was the goal here? Which leads us.
And I still don't know.
No, and we kind of don't. It kind of leaves the viewer a little bit confused as well. The ending, I think, again, we're trying to be
spoiler-free.
We're not no spoilers, but what I'm saying is the internet has already made its conclusion as the ending. Was it good? Was it bad? We've heard some rumors that people weren't excited about it. For me, I thought it was kind of cool because it leads us in a different direction. I won't say any more than that. You felt like
I saw it coming as soon as there was a certain part when the movie is kind of drawing to a close.
Yeah.
And again, we're used to with comic book movies, which this is loosely based on, to kind of get those moments of like, okay, where are we gonna go from here? And there was a certain moment in the closing minutes of it where you kind of like.
And then it unfolds.
And then it unfolds,
Right.
and that's all I'm going to say about that. The movie felt like it was building to something considerable.
Yeah.
It felt like it was.
There was going to be this big payoff.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah,
I'm out of the theater right now.
It's triumph fizzled a little bit, and that kind of not just at the end or anything. You're continuous being like, oh, is this going? Oh, like you kept and I guess in some way in cinema that hooked us as keeping us glued to the seats. We're watching the screen, but ultimately, did I walk away feeling like we were gypped a little bit? Rightfully so. Again. Maybe I'm harboring a little bit of resentment for this Harley Quinn big build up, what I thought Lady Gaga was going to put on this big massive performance. And while she did a great actressing role,
Actressing?
Acting? She just.
You forgot how to talk.
Yeah, I just didn't.
Now,
I wanted more.
But that being said, like the cast is still great. We've got Joaquin Phoenix as Joker / Arthur Fleck.
Yeah.
He does great. Joaquin Phoenix is a weird dude. He does well in weird roles.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga as Lee, she did well. When she was on screen, she shone. She did really well.
It definitely was not a casting misstep.
Brendan Gleeson plays one of the guards, and I thoroughly enjoyed his scenes. And
Very commanding it was.
Well, it was just because you didn't know which way it was going to go whenever
yeah.
he was on screen as well, because he kind of had that little like twinkle
Yeah,
in
the
his
little
eye.
that little twinge.
And even so, there is another character who's present in the court scenes who I'm not going to.
We won't
I'm
talk
not
about
going to
that,
mention
but-
who they are, and they kind of expect how I would expect a real life version of them to be.
Yeah.
So in terms of, it's the sum of all its parts.
Say what you got to say.
I
Say what
felt
your
it was
chest.
disappointing, but it still works as a film. You know what I mean? It's following a majorly successful Joker. And I was hoping that it would build on that and do more. It definitely builds on the story.
That's about
That's
it.
about it.
Well, okay, go see the movie.
Yes.
We're not saying don't go see this. Definitely go out and see this. If you enjoyed the first one, you probably going to enjoy this one. Maybe not as much, maybe. But I think the misstep here it's a bit jarring, in my opinion. The first one was the Joker as it was. Then they introduced this musical aspect. I think if there had been music in the first one a lot more, it wouldn't have been. But it was a big jump. It was a big.
I know it was something that.
That's the only part that I think is going to throw, us as viewers off a little bit. If you're going in expecting Joker 1,
First film was his descent into madness with the big pop at the end.
Right. Yeah.
And then this one was.
Yeah. He's in madness. That was pretty good. The chaos. That was it.
It kind of fizzled to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, as always, at the end of it, we want to get your review. Where are we putting this at a scale of 1 to 10? If you had to rate it,
5.5, 6 out of 10.
5.5. I'm gonna go with 5.
Yeah.
5.5 for sure. Like I said, I want to repeat. Go see this in theaters. It's a Joker movie. Joaquin Phoenix, great actor. You're going to enjoy yourself, and if you enjoy as you get the story going, you're going to sit in your seats like we were glued. We didn't really speak much during the movie or anything like that.
If you're in the process of trying to quit smoking, don't go see this movie.
Oh man, there was so many cigarettes.
Oh
I don't
my God.
Right?
Jeez, I was expecting a Marlboro to be sponsoring Joe Camel.
I'm glad you said it because somebody had to. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for our Out of the Theater immediate review and reaction to Joker, Folie, Deux. As always, if you want to support the channel and you enjoy these kind of reviews, as always, we need you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave us a comment down below what you thought of this film, because me and Peter are on our way to 10K. And with that, I am the real Jussy.
I am the quintessential guy on the left, and like we always say around here, keep it real.